If you're looking to explore and experience real Greece, you cannot do better than the Peloponnese to the west of Athens. This large area is easily explored with the bus network or via hire car. So stick with me, I live in the Peloponnese and these are my 10 best places to visit. So number 10 on my list is Sparta, and by association the Spartans, Leonidas and the 300 who held the Persians at Thermopylae. And they were Spartan. That is the reality. There's not actually that much to see in Sparta nowadays. You can see the statue, you can see the Acropolis, you can see the tomb of Leonidas, as it's so claimed. This makes number 10 on my list not just because this is Sparta and its history, but because 6 kilometres down the road you have Mystras, a medieval city which was abandoned 300 years ago, is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site and can be explored, and it is fantastic, amazing, beautiful, and combined with Sparta it makes a brilliant stop off on your way to other places around the Peloponnese. I would highly recommend it. Number 9 on my list is the town of Kalamata. You may have heard of it because of the olives, but it is a fantastic town on the southern Peloponnese coast. It has amazing shops, restaurants, loads of hotels, an old historic quarter and a fantastic beach. And better still, it's open all year round. And only 2.5 hours easy drive from Athens, or you can get one of the many coaches that run down there. Its location means that it's ideal for exploring the rest of the Peloponnese. You can go to ancient Messini, you can go east along the coast to the Mani Peninsula or Monemvasia, you can turn west and go to Koroni, Pylos or the Costa Navarino. It is ideally located for all of these places within easy reach, either via buses or via hire cars, and I could not recommend it highly enough. Number 8 is the ancient site of Mycenae or Messini, a hugely popular tourist destination about 90 minutes from Athens itself. Very well serviced with organised tours, buses, etc. And the site of the Mycenaean civilization. This is a civilization that predated Hellenic Greece. The Athens that we know, the Parthenon, the Acropolis, the Spartans. This was 1,000 years earlier. This was 1500 BC, 3,500 years ago. And they, along with the Minoans of Crete, were perhaps the original Greeks. And this is number 8 simply because it's tremendous, it's amazing, it's a fantastic site, but I think there are better ancient sites in the Peloponnese and we will come to them. However, that said, you've got an amazing museum. This is where Agamemnon was king. This is where the Greeks of mythology went from here to Troy and besieged Troy with the Trojan horse. And just down the road you have Tiryns, about 7-8 kilometres near Nafplio. Go to Tiryns as well if you have a chance, because it was the port city of the Mycenaean civilization and is almost more impressive in many ways. The walls are just dramatic. So if you want to see the first Greeks, this is the place to go. Number 7 on my list is the fantastic seaside town of Porto, Cheli. It's very popular with Athenians because you can come here direct from Piraeus on a ferry. It takes 2 hours and costs about €50 per person. This makes Porto Cheli a fantastic entry point into the Peloponnese. You can get off the ferry, hire a car here and go and explore. But that's not why it's on my list. It's on my list because of this amazing natural harbour and what lies immediately outside it. Firstly, you have diving and yachting here, not just for experienced people, but for people who want to learn. The coastline here is fantastic and perfect for both activities. But just outside the harbour, you also have the island of Spetses, amazing island, fantastic to visit and stay on, and only 10 minutes either on a ferry, there are regular ferries all year round, but especially in the summer, or via water taxi. It's 10 minutes, and this makes Porto Cheli very special. Porto Cheli itself is really smart, has loads to offer. It has some fantastic and expensive hotel complexes around here, including Am & Zoe, where the Cardassians have stayed, but it also has a nice little beach. So there's lots to offer. There are restaurants, bars, and I'd highly recommend it as my number 7. Number 6 is my next ancient site, the ancient site of Epidaurus, famous for its ancient theatre, the best preserved ancient Greek theatre in Greece, seating 14,000 people and still in use to this day, recommissioned, and every summer holding the Epidaurus Theatre Festival, world famous for its Greek tragedies, its modern dramas and its famous actors. But move beyond the theatre and you have a holistic site. It was a spa resort. In ancient times, it was where the ancient Greeks, the Hellenic Greeks, the Greeks of 400-500 years before Christ, came to be healed and in some cases to die. There was a hotel here, there was a spa here, there were several baths here, and the site is complex and brilliant to explore. Located only an hour and a half from Athens, an easy drive, or you can get an organised tour. There are many organised tours here, and guides will happily show you around this fantastic site. It's only 40 minutes from Mycenae and about an hour from Porto. It's one which you must put on your visit list should you be going to the Peloponnese. Number 5 is Monemvasia. This is one which just has awe-inspiring views. Monemvasia itself is effectively 2 little villages built on the side of a monosyllabic rock located just off the east coast of the Peloponnese and connected via a causeway or bridge. But the views are spectacular, and you have 3 parts to this. You have the lower town, which is occupied and has fantastic hotels, little restaurants, bars, etc. You have the upper town, which was abandoned in about 1770, destroyed by war. And then beyond that, above that, you have a Byzantine castle, which was actually established by the Spartans in the 6th century AD. So you have fantastic history here. The lower town isn't everything that it seems, because it was destroyed in about 1826 during the civil war in Greece. But in the 70s, they rebuilt it, and it has amazing character. You wouldn't know that it had been rebuilt. And should you wish to go, I would recommend staying one night and visiting one night and one day. You don't need more. It's not a huge place, but you can explore the lower town. And then if you have the legs, you climb the rock face. There are some fantastic stairs up there, and you explore the upper town. And that, for me, is where the real beauty lies, because the views, the exploration of the abandoned medieval town, and if you wish to go up to it, the castle, are fantastic. So Monemvasia, well worth a visit. Number 4 on my list is ancient Messini. Perhaps not as well known as some of the other locations I've mentioned and will mention, but for me, possibly the best archaeological site in the Peloponnese. We're located probably 2.5 hours, 3 hours from Athens, only about 40 minutes from Kalamata, and on the way to Olympia. And it is a city-state that no longer exists. It was established in 372 by the Helots. The Helots were the underclass of the Spartans. They were the slaves, if you like, of the Spartan society who kept it going for the warriors. But the Spartan society collapsed in about 372 when they were beaten in war. And the Helots rushed to this site in a panic, and they built this amazing city. They started by building some 9-kilometre walls around it to protect themselves from the Spartans, which was a good thing because the Spartans came back. But fortunately for the Helots, Philip II of Macedonia, Alexander the Great's father, came down and finished off the Spartans for good. That was the end of the Spartan society. But the Helots knew how to build, knew how to organise, knew how to live, and they built ancient Messini. And the scale and scope of this place is astonishing. It has, in my opinion, the absolute best stadium in the Peloponnese. Forget Olympia, we'll talk about Olympia in a minute, but the stadium's fantastic. But the scale of this place, being a city, if you go to Epidaurus, it was a holiday resort. If you go to Olympia, it was a religious site. They're not on the scale and scope of this, and only 50% of it has been excavated at this point. So go, enjoy, explore. It's amazing. Number 3, I'm really cheating a little bit because actually this is 3 or 4 places in one, but we're on the southwest coast of the Peloponnese, the absolute best area should you want beaches and beautiful seas. This is the place to go if you want a big holiday resort, a little holiday village, and just want to sit on the beach and explore little villages. It's perfect. So we have Koroni, we have Methoni, we have Finikounda, and we have Pylos and Costa Navarino. These are all within about 25 minutes, half an hour of each other. Little villages dotted along the coast. Koroni, beautiful, picturesque fishing village, now incredibly popular in the summer as a Greek resort. And if you want a quintessential Greek resort, go to Koroni. 2 nice beaches, amazing blue waters. Then just along we have Finikounda, all about the beach. There's nothing else there other than the beach. There are a couple of restaurants, a few little hotels, another Greek resort. One to explore. Then Methoni, perhaps the best castle in the Peloponnese. This is all about the castle. Yes, there's a beach. Yes, there's a nice little square, but the castle is quite astonishing. And then we go up to Pylos, the largest natural harbour in Greece. Picturesque in the extreme. You have 2 castles should you wish to explore castles. You have a very, very famous square known as the Admiral's Square. Shops, restaurants, a bit of a beach, but we are talking quintessential Greece along the southwest coast of the Peloponnese, and it's my number 3. Number 2 is the ancient site of Olympia, the home of the Olympic Games, first held here in 776 BC and held every 4 years for almost 1,000 years afterwards. Emperor Nero came here and competed in, I think, AD 67. And there is so much to see here. It's fantastic. If you want to see ancient Greece in one place, this is it. The site isn't enormous, but it's incredibly dense. You have the stadium, not the best stadium in the Peloponnese, ancient Messini's is better, but where every 4 years the flame is lit for the modern Olympic Games. And you have 1,000 years of history here. You have the fabulous Temple of Zeus, built in about 500 BC, and site of one of the wonders of the world, the 15-metre tall golden ivory statue of Zeus, which was apparently astonishing to visit. There is everything here, and you can come on a guided tour, you can be shown round, and the investment in this place, the museum especially, best museum in the Peloponnese. I cannot recommend Olympia highly enough should you wish to find out about ancient Greece. And if you're going to visit one site, this is the one you should visit. And so finally, my number 1 recommendation or destination in the Peloponnese is the beautiful, historic, medieval town of Nafplio. Nafplio is only about an hour and a half from Athens. It's an easy drive, or there are loads of coaches down here, and with good reason, because Nafplio is effectively an Italian-esque town. It was built by the Venetians, it was occupied by the Ottomans, and it has a mix of architecture. It has Ottoman-styled architecture, old mosques and so on, which have been converted. The first parliament was here in an old Islamic mosque in 1826, and it was the first capital of Greece. But you don't come here for that. You come here, although it's got loads of history, you come here for the beautiful Italian-esque piazzas, the squares, the buildings, the architecture, and the seafront. The seafront here is astonishing. In the harbour you have the Burzi, a 13th century Venetian castle built to defend the harbour. But then above the town you have 2 other castles, one dating from 1770 or thereabouts, one dating again from the 13th century. So much to explore. The city walls, this was a walled city. And in the old town you have over 100 restaurants. You have amazing hotels. You can spend £600 on a hotel and go to Nafplio Palace up on the hill there, or you can come down to the main town and you can stay, in my opinion, in the best in Greece, pensions or pensions, little family-run hotels dotted around the old town here, and explore the old town, the vibe, the life. It's open all year round, and it's a brilliant place to go and explore the rest of the Peloponnese from. If you just want one base, this is it, because it's 2 hours down to Kalamata, it's half an hour to Mykonos, it's 45 minutes or less to Epidaurus. You can go to Argos, you can go to beach towns nearby such as Tolo or Paralyastros. This town has it all, and I would recommend 2 nights here, 3 days. You will not regret it. If you're here just for the day, you'll want to stay longer. If you do 1 night, you'll regret not doing 2. So Nafplio, my recommendation, my number 1 pick for the Peloponnese.